Hello?
Yes, please explain how you get to the interval.
Okay, so in words, again, it starts as a single rotation and it sends me over a little bit. Why do I have to move over? Because if you take the 2-5, if you take the thumb, you hear. If you take the 2-5, you see that the arm needed to move over, that if it's here, it doesn't feel good. So it needs to move over enough to feel that it's really behind both. And it's the job of the motion from the thumb to get me over. So it feels almost legato, but it isn't, you know, a little bit of a rotation that sends me a little bit over here to exactly where I need to be, and also to a higher position, because that's where it feels when the hand is more open. We are a little bit higher. That's where it feels nice and connected. And then we do it the same thing. We can connect to the thumb. We actually let go a little bit so we can feel really that we're starting again. So in fact, I can tell you that this feels, the 1 to the 2-5 feels relatively connected, even though there is a little bit of a let go to get over. And then I start again. So I disconnect after the 2-5. This feels like a group. This feels like a group. And I said at the beginning that if you want to implement some of those things, you will need someone experienced to do it with you, because there are not enough words to explain what's going on there, but it's simpler if somebody just makes you feel that. So I'm not going to try to explain and explain and explain because there's no end to it. But the way that it works is that what's consistent here is this group of 2. And as you see, I'm always moving over, sometimes moving out, because it feels less stretchy than being inside. And again, and then there are jumps between the groups, larger jumps. So that there are jumps between the groups themselves. Sometimes they're very small, just one step. But sometimes they go bigger and bigger. So the one consistent thing that we have is this group. They are the same. Does that make sense, or does it raise questions? The issue of how to do this, like I said, you know, somebody needs to be with you, and maybe you can try it and see how it works. But as you see, I'm a little bit higher, a little bit lower. And you see constantly ins and outs. So all of that, you can begin to train the eye that we're not sitting, we're not playing always here, and we're not always playing here, but very often. It's a dance that goes back and forth. The other thing to note that even though the groups work like this, now somebody can say, why group at all? It feels impossible to play it, you know, and to connect all of them or try to connect all of them. You can try. I think that's one of the reasons that this piece is not played very much. It's unplayable that way. But the other thing that happens here is that it's written really in groups of 3. So rhythmically, once you have the group here, and Chopin wants to make sure that you are rhythmic, and he puts, again, he's being syncopated. He puts on the 2nd and the 4th beat, he puts a little bit of an accent. And we know that the main beats are the 1 and 3, so those have to be there. So again, and it sounds like a different piece. And if you want to be convinced even further, the left hand that has, by the way, all those distances. So the same question will go anywhere. How not to make it stretchy is to go this way, like this, to send you back this way. Otherwise, you are doomed to always stretch. There's no other way to do it. And to just get over is very fatiguing when you're doing it in great speed and always getting over and moving yourself. But no, so that again, the left hand is under what we call legato leap. The arm swings this way and sends you that way, moving in. Now, he puts half note, again, where he puts accent in the right hand, he puts a half note in the left hand, which tells you he's saying yam, pa, yam, pa. So very important. The grouping is how we put it comfortably into our hands, but the rhythm very often doesn't coincide with the grouping. And that creates a very interesting rhythmic interplay. So we have to go back and put the rhythm where it belongs.